Welcome back to the channel Rare Coin Insights. Could that 1994 US nickel sitting in your pocket be worth much more than just 5 cents? What if I told you that some of these seemingly ordinary coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Stick with me, because in this video, we're going to uncover the hidden secrets of the 1994 nickel, one of the most fascinating coins in modern American currency. You won't want to miss this, so make sure to stay until the end. You might just find out that the next coin you come across could be worth a small fortune. Before we dive in, I want you to picture something for a moment, a coin that you may have brushed off as just another piece of pocket change. But what if it turns out that this very coin could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of dollars? Sound impossible? It's not. Today, we're talking about the 1994 US nickel, a coin that might seem simple, but when you look closer, it could be hiding something extraordinary. Let's take a journey through its history, design, and, most importantly, the rare errors and variations that could make this humble nickel worth much more than you ever imagined. The US nickel, a staple of American currency, has a long and storied history dating back to the 1800s. Originally introduced in 1866, the nickel was intended to provide a larger, more durable coin for everyday transactions. It's been through several redesigns over the years, with different faces gracing its obverse and reverse sides, but the 1994 nickel holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. This specific year features the classic design of Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front, which has been a part of US currency since 1938. But there's more to the 1994 nickel than meets the eye. The 1994 nickel is part of a long line of coins that have carried Jefferson's likeness, but there's one key thing that sets it apart. The year's mintage was a massive undertaking. The US Mint produced billions of these coins to meet the demands of daily circulation, but what sets these particular 1994 nickels apart is that some of them contain hidden variations, flaws, and errors that make them extremely rare, and incredibly valuable. But before we dive into those rare finds, let's take a look at the design itself and what makes it unique. On the front of the 1994 nickel, you'll find Thomas Jefferson's familiar portrait, designed by the artist Felix Schlag. Alongside Jefferson's likeness are the inscriptions, Liberty, and, In God We Trust, as well as the year mark, 1994. The back of the coin features a depiction of Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, with the words, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 5 cents inscribed. The coin also carries a mint mark, which is crucial to determining its rarity and value. Mint marks tell you where the coin was produced: Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. And while this design may seem standard, trust me when I say that appearances can be deceiving. But what about the most exciting part? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The 1994 nickel is not just a collector's item because of its design. There are rare errors, some of which can make a nickel worth far more than just its face value. These errors are caused during the minting process, and some of them are so rare and so unusual that they've sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Let's take a look at a few of these rare errors that can transform an ordinary 1994 nickel into a small fortune. First, we have the off-center strikes. These happen when a coin is struck off-center, meaning it doesn't line up properly in the die. As a result, the image on the coin is partially cut off, and the edges may be uneven. But here's the kicker: off-center strikes, especially those that are dramatically misaligned, are rare. And because they are so unusual, they can be worth a lot of money. If you have a 1994 nickel with an off-center strike, it could be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Keep your eyes peeled. Then, there are double strikes. Double strikes occur when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a ghost image on the coin. This error can cause parts of the design to overlap or duplicate, giving the coin a blurry or doubled appearance. Double-struck 1994 nickels are highly sought after by collectors, and depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin, they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Next up are die cracks and cuts. These are another type of error that can make a 1994 nickel valuable. Die cracks happen when there are tiny cracks in the die that strikes the coin, leaving a faint line or crack on the surface of the coin. Cuts are a bit more dramatic. When part of the die breaks off, it can leave a raised, irregular area on the coin's surface. These errors, while small, are rare enough to increase the coin's value significantly. Coins with these imperfections can easily fetch several $100s, depending on their rarity and condition, but here's the most exciting part. What if I told you that there is one particular error on the 1994 nickel that could make it worth thousands of dollars, maybe even more? That's right, there's an error so rare, so special, that it could change the way you look at your coin collection forever. This error is known as the double die, and it's one of the most valuable and sought-after errors on any coin, not just the 1994 nickel. The double die error happens when a coin is struck twice in the minting process. The first strike is slightly off-center, and the second strike creates a duplicate of the original image, often leaving the design looking blurry or doubled. On a 1994 nickel, the double die error is most noticeable on Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building on the reverse side of the coin. It's extremely rare, and because of its scarcity, a double die 1994 nickel can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and the quality of the strike. But how do you know if your 1994 nickel has this rare error? It's not as difficult as you might think. You'll need to carefully examine the coin under magnification. Look closely at the areas around Jefferson's portrait and Monticello. If you see any doubling, whether it's on the letters, numbers, or images, it could be a double die. This error can make all the difference in the value of your coin, turning a simple nickel into a small fortune. Now that you know about the rare errors that could make your 1994 nickel valuable, you're probably wondering, how much is it worth? Well, the value of your coin depends on a few key factors, like its condition, the presence of any errors, and whether or not it's been graded. Coins are graded on a scale, with higher grades meaning more value. A nickel in mint condition can be worth much more than one that's been worn down by years of circulation. So, how do you assess the value of your 1994 nickel? Let's break it down. When it comes to grading, coins are evaluated based on their appearance, with higher grades indicating better quality. Coins in excellent condition are considered uncirculated, while coins that show signs of wear are graded lower. For a 1994 nickel, a high-grade coin could be worth a few dollars, but if it has one of those rare errors we've talked about, like a double die or off-center strike, it could fetch hundreds or even thousands at auction. The mint mark on your 1994 nickel is another important factor in determining its value. Some mint marks are rarer than others, especially if there's an error or misplacement. For example, nickels minted at the San Francisco Mint, S, are often worth more because they were produced in smaller quantities than those minted in Philadelphia, P, or Denver, D. If you find a 1994 nickel with a rare mint mark or an unusual error, it could significantly increase its value. So, now that you've uncovered the rare errors that could make your coin valuable, you're probably wondering, where can you sell your 1994 nickel? Well, there are several places where you can sell coins, both online and in person. Online platforms like eBay and Etsy are great for selling coins, as are specialized coin auction sites. When selling online, make sure to take clear photos of your coin and provide a detailed description, especially if it has an error or variation that could increase its value. Local coin dealers and coin shows are also great places to sell your rare 1994 nickels. If you have a nickel with a particularly rare error, you might want to get it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. Grading can increase the coin's value, and it also gives potential buyers confidence in its authenticity. Now, here's the big question: should you sell your 1994 nickel now or hold on to it for future value? Coins with rare errors can appreciate in value over time, so sometimes it's worth waiting for the right moment to sell. However, If you're eager to cash in on your find, selling at an auction could be a great way to get top dollar. In conclusion, the 1994 US nickel is far from ordinary. Whether it's a regular coin or one with a rare error, this nickel could be worth much more than just 5 cents. If you find one with a double die error, off-center strike, or another rare variation, you could be looking at a valuable collector's item worth thousands. So, the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a 1994 nickel, take a moment to examine it carefully. You never know, it could be the start of your own coin collection fortune. If you've enjoyed learning about the 1994 US nickel and want to discover more hidden treasures in your coin collection, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on rare coins and valuable finds. And remember, happy collecting, because that simple coin in your pocket might just be worth a whole lot more than you think. Do you have a 1986 US nickel sitting in your pocket right now? What if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding something extraordinary? Today, we're diving deep into the 1986 nickel, and you'll be amazed at what we uncover. This isn't just another 5-cent coin, it could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Stick with me as we explore the history, the design, the rare errors, and how you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. Now, when we think of a US nickel, we usually picture the classic image of Thomas Jefferson's face on the front and Monticello, his famous home, on the back. But what if I told you that the 1986 nickel, while part of this long tradition, holds some secrets that could make it way more valuable than the average coin you've probably tossed around in your pocket for years? Stick around, and you'll find out how a simple nickel could turn into a small fortune. First, let's talk about the history of the 1986 nickel. The nickel is one of the longest-standing coins in US currency, dating all the way back to 1866. But the 1986 nickel has its own unique place in this timeline. By the time this coin was minted, we were in the midst of an economic shift. The United States in 1986 was navigating a complex economic landscape, one of steady growth after the early 80s recession. Coins from this era carry a certain weight of history, which gives them character, but what makes the 1986 nickel particularly interesting? You see, during the mid-80s, the mint produced billions of coins every year. In 1986, over 1 billion nickels were struck, making it a pretty typical year for production. However, certain factors, the design, mint marks, and even some rare errors, make the 1986 nickel something worth investigating. And trust me, the deeper we go, the more interesting it gets. Speaking of design, let's take a closer look at the 1986 US nickel. The obverse of the coin, which features the image of Thomas Jefferson, was designed by Felix Schlag. This image has graced the nickel since 1938 and is one of the most iconic designs in US coinage. On the 1986 nickel, you'll find the familiar inscription of "Liberty, in God We Trust," and, of course, the year 1986. But there's something special about the 1986 version, too. The design features subtle touches that could make a difference in the value of your coin. On the reverse side, we see Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia. This design is also a classic, unchanged since 1938. The inscription here reads, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 5 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. There are certain details within this design that you should be paying attention to. The Monticello design has a tendency to wear differently depending on how the coin was struck. These subtle differences can be worth a lot more than you might think. What about the composition of the 1986 nickel? The 1986 nickel is made from a combination of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This mix gives it its signature weight and feel. But the way the coin was struck, whether it was under pressure, if the die was worn, can make a huge difference in how much a coin is worth. The edge of the coin, often overlooked, is an important factor in determining authenticity and condition. Now, you're probably wondering, what about mint marks? In 1986, 3 different mints produced the nickel, the Philadelphia Mint, P, the Denver Mint, D, and the San Francisco Mint, S. These mint marks are important because they help determine the rarity of a coin. While most 1986 nickels will have a P or D mint mark, the ones stamped with an S can be particularly valuable if they're in pristine condition. The rarity of certain mint marks can cause their value to increase significantly, so keep an eye out for these little symbols. So far, we've covered the basics, the history, design, and composition of the 1986 nickel. But hold on, because this is where it gets exciting. What if I told you that certain 1986 nickels contain rare errors that could make them worth far more than just 5 cents? That's right, errors and variations in the minting process can drastically change the value of a coin. Let's dive into some of these rare errors that could be hiding in your pocket right now. Let's start with off-center strikes. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned with the die, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. Off-center strikes can be a goldmine for collectors. The further off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin. So, if you're holding a 1986 nickel and it looks slightly off-center, you could be looking at a rare and valuable coin. Next, we have double strikes and overstrikes. Double strikes occur when the coin is struck twice by the die. This can happen when the coin is shifted slightly between strikes, causing a second, blurry image to appear on top of the original. Overstrikes happen when a coin is struck with a die meant for another coin. These errors can be worth hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars, depending on how clear the strike is. Imagine finding a 1986 nickel with a double strike. This could easily turn your coin into a collector's dream. Another common error in the 1986 nickel is die cracks and cuts. A die crack occurs when the die used to strike the coin starts to wear down, causing a visible crack on the coin's surface. A cut happens when part of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a raised area on the coin. These errors can be quite rare and highly sought after by collectors, and they can significantly increase the value of your nickel. But wait, there's more. One of the rarest and most valuable errors in the 1986 nickel is the missing or mismatched mint mark. In some cases, nickels were minted without a mint mark or with an incorrect mint mark, which can make them extremely rare. If you happen to find a 1986 nickel with a missing or misplaced mint mark, you could be holding a coin worth much more than face value. But let's focus on the holy grail of errors, the double die error. This is by far one of the rarest and most valuable errors you could find in a 1986 nickel. The double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the die, causing a doubling effect on the design. This can happen on Jefferson's portrait, the Monticello design, or any part of the coin. The most sought-after double die errors are those where the doubling is clearly visible to the naked eye, especially around Jefferson's eye or the Liberty inscription. These coins can fetch hundreds, even thousands, of dollars depending on their condition. Now that you know what to look for, how do you assess the value of your 1986 nickel? The first step is to grade your coin. Coin grading is a complex process, but it essentially involves determining the coin's condition on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The better the grade, the higher the value. A well-preserved 1986 nickel can be worth a lot more than one with visible wear and tear, so take a close look at your coin and assess its condition. The mint mark also plays a crucial role in determining the coin's value. A coin from the San Francisco Mint or one with an unusual mint mark could be worth more than a standard 1986 nickel. And, of course, any rare errors like die cracks, off-center strikes, or double strikes will increase the value exponentially. Keep in mind that the condition of the coin also matters. Coins in better shape are generally worth more. So, how much is your 1986 nickel worth? It could be worth just a few cents, or it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the errors, mint marks, and condition. You'll need to research the current market trends and prices for similar coins, but with the right information, you could be holding on to a valuable treasure. Once you've assessed the value of your coin, the next step is deciding where to sell it. You can sell your 1986 nickel online through platforms like eBay or specialized coin marketplaces. Make sure you take high-quality photos and write a detailed description of your coin, including any errors or unique features. You can also visit local coin shops or participate in coin auctions to find a buyer. And if your coin is especially rare, consider getting it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC to increase its value. So, now that you know where to sell your 1986 nickel, should you sell it now or hold on to it for future value? The coin market can be unpredictable, and some rare coins increase in value over time. If you have a particularly rare 1986 nickel, it might be worth holding on to it and seeing how its value grows in the coming years. Before we wrap up, let's recap the key points. The 1986 US nickel might seem like an ordinary coin, but with the right features or errors, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Pay attention to mint marks, errors like double strikes or off-center strikes, and the overall condition of the coin. And if you find something rare, don't hesitate to get it professionally graded and start exploring your selling options. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures. Your next big find could be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching, and if you've got a 1986 nickel, or any other rare coin, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on coin collecting and how to cash in on your valuable finds. Do you have a 1984 US nickel in your coin collection? That simple 5-cent coin, with its recognizable portrait of Thomas Jefferson, might be hiding something much more valuable than you think. While it's easy to assume a nickel is worth only 5 cents, you might be sitting on a rare treasure worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. Stick around to find out how you could turn a pocket change find into a big payday. In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1984 US nickel. We'll explore its history, design features, and, most importantly, uncover some rare errors that could make your 1984 nickel worth much more than face value. Plus, I'll show you exactly how to identify these errors, how to assess the value of your coin, and where you can sell it for top dollar. So, grab your 1984 nickels and let's get started. Let's take a step back and start with the history of the US nickel in 1984. To understand the potential value of your coin, it's essential to know a little about the history behind it. The US nickel, which was first introduced in 1866, has undergone several changes in design over the years. The nickel denomination was meant to be a small, durable coin for everyday use, and its design has evolved to reflect the changing values and symbols of the nation. By 1984, the US nickel had been using the familiar design featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, front side, and an image of Monticello, Jefferson's home, on the reverse. This design was created by artist Felix Schlag in 1938 and has been a staple of the US nickel ever since. However, the minting process, the quantity produced, and even subtle changes in the design make 1984 an interesting year in the coin's history. But the 1984 nickel wasn't just a typical year for the coin. The minting process for this year wasn't without its surprises. There were several notable variations, and some coins were struck with unique features that could significantly increase their value. These hidden gems are what we're really after, and I'll get into all the details shortly. But first, let's take a closer look at the design features of the 1984 nickel and what makes it so interesting. The obverse design of the 1984 nickel features a detailed portrait of Thomas Jefferson. This depiction, created by Felix Schlag, is a close-up view of Jefferson, emphasizing his intellectual and dignified appearance. The coin also bears the year, 1984, and the word liberty prominently, marking the coin's official production year and reflecting the nation's core ideals. On the reverse side, we find Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson. This architectural masterpiece was not just a symbol of Jefferson's legacy, but also a representation of American ideals. The words E pluribus unum and United States of America are inscribed, with the denomination of 5 cents clearly displayed. This side of the coin is a tribute to American history and architecture, and it's crucial for collectors to pay attention to every small detail on this design. So, what's important to note here? Well, there are some subtle variations in the quality of these coins that could affect their value. For example, the minting quality might differ from one coin to another. Some might have sharper details, while others could have softer designs. Furthermore, there might be slight differences in the font or the positioning of inscriptions that could make some 1984 nickels stand out more than others, but here's where things get really interesting, because not all 1984 nickels are the same. There are a number of rare errors and variations that can make certain 1984 nickels worth significantly more than their face value. One of the most sought-after variations is the wide AM error, which I'll explain in detail in a moment. But before we get there, let's talk about some of the common errors that can elevate the value of your 1984 nickel. One of the most common errors is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or cut off. Off-center nickels are rare and, depending on how much of the design is missing, they can be highly valuable. To spot an off-center strike, simply look at the edge of the coin. If part of the design is missing or if it appears off-center, you might have a winner on your hands. These types of errors are rare, and the more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. Next, we have double strikes and overstrikes. These errors happen when a coin is struck more than once by the same die or struck with the wrong die. Double strikes can make a coin's design appear doubled, which can significantly affect its value. Overstrikes occur when a coin is struck with two different dies, which can result in a misaligned or overlapping design. Both of these errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors. Die cracks and cuts are other common errors you might encounter with your 1984 nickel. Die cracks occur when there are cracks in the minting die that are transferred onto the coin. These cracks are typically thin, and can appear as lines or markings on the coin's surface. Cuts are raised areas on the coin caused by damage to the die, and they can give your coin a very distinctive appearance. These types of errors can make a nickel more valuable, as they're unique and harder to find. Finally, there's the issue of mismatched or missing mint marks. If the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was struck, either D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, is missing or improperly placed, the coin can become highly collectible. A missing or incorrect mint mark can make a 1984 nickel rare and increase its value significantly. Now, out of all the errors you could find on a 1984 nickel, there's one that stands above the rest. This is the wide AM error. It occurs when the spacing between the A and M in the word America is significantly wider than usual. This happens when the dies used to mint the coins are misaligned. The wide AM error is so rare that a nickel with this flaw can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. The reason the wide AM error is so valuable is because of its rarity and the specific conditions that are required for it to occur. These coins are very hard to find, and they command a premium on the collector's market. If you happen to come across a 1984 nickel with this error, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. So, how do you assess the value of your 1984 nickel? Well, first, you need to examine the condition of the coin. Coin grading is an essential part of determining its value, and it's important to know how to properly grade your coin. Coins are typically graded on a scale from poor to perfect, with terms like uncirculated, no wear, and almost uncirculated, minimal wear, being used to describe a coin's condition. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it is. Mint marks also play a role in determining the value of your coin. For example, nickels struck in Denver, with the D mint mark, are generally more common than those struck in Philadelphia, with the P mint mark, making the latter more valuable in some cases. A rare mint mark can boost the price of your 1984 nickel, especially if it's a coin with an error or variation. When it comes to market value, regular 1984 nickels typically aren't worth much more than their face value, unless they have a rare error. But for coins with significant errors like the wide AM or double strikes, prices can soar into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while it's important to note that the market value of coins can fluctuate over time, there's no doubt that rare 1984 nickels are highly coveted by collectors. Once you've assessed the value of your coin, you might be wondering where you can sell it. Well, you have several options. Online platforms like eBay and Etsy are popular places to sell rare coins, and specialized coin websites often offer marketplaces for collectors to buy and sell. If you have a really rare coin, you might want to consider contacting a professional coin dealer or even submitting your coin to an auction house. In some cases, sending your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can help you get a higher price, as certification makes the coin more trustworthy and desirable to buyers. So, should you sell your 1984 nickel now, or wait for a better price? That depends on your situation and the rarity of your coin. If you have a truly valuable error, it could be worth holding onto it for a few years to see if its value increases. On the other hand, if you're eager to cash in now, selling it might be your best option. As we wrap up, I want to remind you to keep your eyes peeled for rare nickels in your collection. That simple 1984 nickel you've been carrying around might be worth much more than you think. It could be a rare find, waiting to be discovered. So, take a closer look, and happy collecting. If you've got a 1984 nickel with a rare error, drop a comment below and let us know what you found. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and tricks. You never know what treasure might be hidden in your collection.